Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make a start at crocheting. That means that you must select a good yarn for yourself. A chunky yarn is recommended for beginners. Now what chunky means is it would be something of a 6 mm. So the hook that you would use for this with this yarn would be a 6 mm hook. So I recommend this is a good yarn for beginners. Alternatively, if you wanted to use a thicker yarn than this, then you have a super chunky yarn, which utilizes a thicker hook, like a 10 to 12 mm hook. Now that's a 10 mm hook, and that is a 12 mm hook. So you could use either 10 or 12 mm hook for this yarn. So for beginners, super chunky or just a chunky yarn is recommended. Now I'm going to show you how to hold your yarn and your hook when you begin crocheting. Now this is a crochet video for right-handed crocheters. So those of you who hold your hook in your right hand while crocheting. Now there's two ways of holding a hook, like a pen or like a knife. Now I've always done it with like a knife, and I find it very convenient. So you can figure out that while you are trying to adjust your yarn and hook on your hands before you begin. Okay. So to begin, I will just quickly make a slip knot. So the slip knot is just twist it around and make a knot like this. And then you can just slide it to fit it around your crochet hook. And you can slide your crochet hook in there. Now this slip knot shouldn't be too big or too small. It should be a good size, just enough, and there should be a little bit of gap on the side, so that we can slide our next chains through. Okay, so normally the hook which has a grip like this, I would recommend to obviously hold it from here. And sometimes some of the hooks have a slat here, which is quite convenient to hold it from. And some of these kind of plastic hooks, they don't really sometimes have anything on them, but you could still hold it from somewhere in the middle here. Okay, now I'm using this grip one, so it's quite easy for me. I can easily hold it from this handle section. Okay, now on your left side of your hand, you've got the yarn that you're going to be guiding through, that's going to come through that side. Okay, so there's three sections of this hand. So your thumb, these two fingers, and the last two fingers. Now the way I hold it is like this. So this yarn that comes through the yarn ball, I'm just letting it through these two fingers, these first two fingers, okay? And then this, which I've been holding it like this, the thumb and the two fingers are the back fingers, I'm just going to hold that slip knot to begin with, like that. Now, keep your hands quite relaxed. You don't have to be too stressed about holding it. In the beginning you may find it slightly difficult, but this is how you hold your yarn and your hook, and you will find it easier as you practice and get comfortable with yourself about how you find it comfortable holding it. But these are the three things to remember. And when you begin, you can start by leaving the hook facing the ceiling, and then you bring this yarn, pull it, twist your hook like this, and now it's facing the floor. So I'm now going to take it through this chain, this loop that we made in the slip knot before, and I've completed my first chain. Now my hook is in my next loop, and I can carry on. Now, as you can see, I'm holding this bit here quite firmly, and this yarn is coming from the yarn ball, which I can pull as and when I am making a longer chain. So again, I will repeat the same process. I will yarn over, and when I yarn over, my hook will be facing this ceiling. Then I will twist it through, and then I'll bring it through this gap here, and that's when it will face the floor, and then it'll go through. Now my goal is to make these chains as even as possible, which means not that one chain is quite big and the other chain is quite tight or small. They have to be as even as possible, and that will slowly come with practice. So even if you don't immediately get it, don't worry. Keep practicing with this method. Okay, now I was holding it at the chain here, and I've made a few more chains here. So I'm going to now shift this section here. Okay, and as I move forward and I need more yarn, I just have to keep pulling the yarn from my yarn ball. As in when I go further. Now this yarn that's coming from my yarn here doesn't have to be held very tightly, but it has to, when I pull it, when I need more yarn, I need to pull it like that with my fingers, and then that way I can make space for making more longer chains or making more stitches at the same time. Okay, so I would recommend in the beginning just practice your chains. Now this is what the chain would look like. This is your top part of the chain, and this is the back part of your chain. This is the front, and this is the back. Okay, this is what it will look like. So practice making an even chain first, and then when you're ready, you can go and have a look at my next video. Thank you.